The theme for this week is going to be free flowing. Now this is going to be one of our final weeks together doing these activities, and so I hope that you've learned something. I hope that you've grown in your skill. I hope that you've enjoyed the activities. I know it's a little bit different doing it through the screen, and hopefully we can hang out in person or on Zoom. So we're bringing it back to something that we did at the beginning. And so we talked about and we did an activity called freestyle. With freestyle, you can choose whatever style and genre you want to write in. You can also choose whatever topic. Now we're going to do something called free flow writing with a topic. So this just makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes when you do free flow, you can sort of do it where it's no topic at all. It's just whatever comes to mind. So same rules as the beginning is just write. If you want to write, why is Mel making me do this? You can write that 6 times before something comes to mind. But in your package, it explains a little bit of where it came from, and I'm going to read it out. So free flow writing is a writing strategy that was developed by Peter Elbow in 1973. It is similar to freestyle writing and brainstorming, but it is written in sentences and paragraphs without stopping. It's meant to increase the flow of ideas and reduces the change that you'll accidentally censor a good idea. It also helps to increase fluency of thoughts and strengthen dual language speakers' connection to each language. And so it goes on to explain a little bit of the differences between brainstorming and things like that. But the important part is with free flow writing, you are writing in formal sentences and in paragraphs. Whereas with freestyle, there's no boundaries, there's no borders, there's no rules. You just write. With free flow, it's a little bit more controlled. And so what I like to do, especially when it comes to academic papers, so your school assignments, or when I think of now, like in my job, I have to do reports or I have to do proposals, or when I'm speaking on a panel, I have to write a big paper before I speak in order to be approved. And so I do both of these things. I'll do freestyle, and I'll write anything and everything that I know about the topic. It could be one word, it could be a list of things, it could be sentences, it could be pictures, and I do all of that. So it's a version of brainstorming. But then when I start to collect my thoughts and I start to recognize and remember and build upon that idea, I will do this. I'll do a free flow writing exercise where I begin to take those ideas, take all of those brainstorm pieces and all of the things that I've written on that paper through the freestyle, and I'll begin to free flow that into actual paragraphs based off of the topic or the subtopics. So this just makes it a little bit easier. So to continue with the theme of our group, using water as your topic, you're going to free flow a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs or even a story about water. Now, one of the things that I want you to keep in mind, and I did add the excerpt in your package, it was something that was written by Gary Provost, and it talks about using different variations of sentence structure and sentence length. We will go into this in cycle 2 if you're interested, but you just want to pay attention to how you're writing. So when you're writing certain sentences, sometimes it becomes monotonous or monotone, which means it's the same level of tone of voice, and there's no difference in the sentences, and it's just the same thing over and over. Sometimes you can fall asleep listening to somebody who talks like this. There's no cadence, there's no melody. You almost want to see and hear music to your ears when somebody's speaking. And so somebody like me, like you can see a little bit, my hands come into the screen. I talk with my hands a lot, but I also talk with different volume. I talk with different full stops and pauses. And so this is an example. I'm going to read it for you so you can sort of listen and hear how it pinpoints what we're talking about in terms of writing with different styles and writing with different sentence lengths and different words. And so he says this. This sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands some variety. So it's all the same. Now listen, I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lift, a harmony. I use short sentences, and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes when I am certain that the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerable length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the impetus and crescendo, the roll of the drums, the crash of the cymbals, sounds that say, listen to this, it is important. So write with a combination of short, medium, and long sentences. Create a sound that pleases the reader's ears. Don't just write words, write music. And so for me, when I first read this and when I found this image, it really spoke to me because I am a musician also. And to me, when you hear music, you like to hear, like, maybe it starts slow and then it builds up, which is called crescendo. And you have that big sort of climax, it goes up, and then all of a sudden it begins to dwindle and come back down, and that's called decrescendo. And so you want to sort of write like that. So think of a movie. Think of when something's about to happen and the music, it's fast and it's quick and it's upbeat and it goes up, 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 up. And then it's like, okay, the big thing happened. Then you got to come back down from that, like those emotions, all those things that you're feeling in that moment. Your heart's racing. Maybe it's a horror movie. We don't know. But you got to come back down from that. But that's also part of music, right? So if you think of, I used to listen to classical music, not so much anymore, but I'm a person who listens to a lot of drum and bass, or even like Skrillex, things like with heavy beats. But a lot of the time the song starts pretty slow and then it bounces up, it gets to a stop, like a top point, sort of like the top of a mountain, and then it starts to calm and come back down, and then there's a slowness before it phases out. And so you want to think about that when you're writing. Think about that when you're doing your sentences, and think about descriptive words. Don't just use the same words over and over again. I'm going to call myself out here for a second, but even myself, and when there's a pause, you're like, you sort of do those little lull sounds. You're not going to write like that. Or something that people do a lot is and see if there's other words that you can use. Look up words in the dictionary, look up what the synonyms are, so that you can actually change the flow, like the ebb and flow of your writing. And so if you have any questions about the writing, let me know. Share them with me. I can help you. But yeah, just have fun with it. Just have fun. So I hope you enjoyed this exercise.